This is like a 2/3 instant reaction show and 1/3 I've had a night to sleep on it reaction show. Money in the Bank, new era for the TFW podcast. This is our first episode of going 2 times a week in your ear holes, on your TV screen, however you want to digest this. We are here for you guys, double the time. And I guess a hell of a show to start this on. It is Sunday. Rhodesia and I just watched Money in the Bank. Probably ended about 10 minutes ago. My brother Eshaun watched it yesterday. So we may have a couple of different feels on what the show was, which should be good and make for some fantastic conversation. Let's intro the pod and get right into this thing. This is the TFW podcast, episode 44. You guys know the usual suspects around here. Rhodesia is here. Eshaun is here. I am here. Y'all want to get right into it?
Let's go.
Y'all want to start with the main event?
Let's rock it out.
All right. So we had our preview pod a few days ago, and I had stated I thought there was a chance we would see Roman take a pin from Jay to give the Usos that notch in the belt of being the first to pin Roman for the first time in 3 years, 4 years, whatever it was. That was the finish we got after a pretty damn entertaining match. First half of the match was more story. You know, we know how this goes now with Roman's matches. Yeah, when you got that emotional investment, you kind of get away with not doing much physically. You can get away with doing story and face shoes and things of that nature. They turned it up toward the end. Had a hell of a sequence. We can talk about the callbacks that they did in that match. It was a lot of them there, but Usos do win. Jay gets the pin on Roman Reigns. And the interesting thing that happened, and I'll throw it to you guys, Michael Cole at the end talked about the mystique, the aura of Roman Reigns is now gone. And anybody that was still holding on to the whole Cody thing and the Roman thing for Mania, that was all I was explaining for these past 2.5, 3 months.
Hey, Matt, don't even go into you were wrong and Michael Cole was wrong, but keep going.
Would have happened if Cody would have won at Mania. That would have been gone. The aura of Roman Reigns would have been gone. The mystique of Roman Reigns would have been gone. Nobody deserved to pin Roman over Jey Uso. Nobody. Now we got that. Now we'll see how the story goes, of course, going forward. But I thought it was an awesome finish. Eshaun, let's start with you because you watched the show last night or yesterday afternoon, so you had time to digest it much more than Rhodesia and I. And then Rhodesia, of course, you can take it away after that. What was your thoughts about the match and, of course, the finish?
It was a really good match. I enjoyed it start to finish. I like Roman's matches. I like all the talking and the back and forth that he does. It's very interesting. I don't know if we've had a style of match like that, right? To where it's kind of like every match has a story, but he's kind of like, it's like a legit, like, you know, like movie, TV type scenario, right? Because, you know, like, especially if you got any Dragon Ball Z fans, to when these guys are fighting and these guys are having like monologues and these guys are talking for like 30 minutes and not fighting. That's what his matches seem like. It's like a lot of monologue and a lot of talking back and forth. I really enjoy the character aspect of it. Super surprised that Roman got pinned. And actually, I want to kind of talk about us and give us some props. We were talking about on the last pod about the last time that Roman Reigns was pinned, right? We talked about it. We said it was Baron Corbin back in December 2019. And I don't believe that the WWE has mentioned that pin or lack of pin from Roman Reigns until this actual match. So we kind of caught it on the last show, which was very cool.
Baron does it all the time, though. Baron calls it out all the time.
They listen.
But Baron calls it out, too.
That's a great story. Let's go ahead and use that.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. But it was a really good match. I was super surprised that he took that pin. But it was marvelous from start to finish. Going back to your, like for me, like I'll be honest, everybody, friends, family, like the Cody thing, I'm over that. You know, I just bring it up because I like to poke fun at people. But you you guys who really love that finish from Randy, you guys are holding on to that stuff. You guys are really pushing that narrative. Like, who cares about that? Was like a long time ago. It didn't really make me feel any better about Jay pinning him or not. It was the fact that he's been pinned by Roman. I mean, pinned by Jay on this moment. It didn't really matter to me, honestly. I didn't think about it when it happened. Didn't do anything for me. But what did you guys think?
Well, to Matt's first point about my thoughts on the match, and I'll answer your question in a second. Man, the passion, the emotions in that match, again, first off, starting off, I call it slow. Y'all call it storytelling. Again, just how I feel. So it starts off pretty slow. Roman does his normal thing. And as that mug start ramping up and you start seeing the callbacks, this move for that move, that sequence between Roman and Jay was just incredible. It's probably one of the best sequences I've seen that wasn't like super like high flying, risk taking move back to back to back to back like we normally see like with maybe the Young Bucks and such. But that sequence was amazing. And then right before Jay went to cover him and Jimmy knew Jay was going to win, did you see the passion in Jimmy's eyes in the corner? He was damn near about to cry. He was so happy. He's so excited. Man, so to see that finish, I was so excited. I did think maybe from our last podcast that maybe Roman would lose and get the pin when you brought it up, Matt. Before now, I didn't think that he would take a pin for a while. But such a good match. Where do we leave? Where's everybody at this point? Solo's laid out on the side. Paul Heyman's looking crazy. Like, what's next?
Crying.
It just
another perfect performance by Heyman. He was on his game. Speaking of on their game, I do want to shout out Ray Barrett and Michael Cole. They got better and better as this show went on. Mm-hmm. And by the time we got the Cena appearance, they were off and running. And they were fantastic on those last 2 and 3 matches on the show. So I do want to shout them out because they added a lot to today's show.
They kind of was quiet when I think they needed to be. And then you heard Cole's passion in there with a lot of that false finish and such. But just overall, that Civil War, it almost felt like to me, damn, like I think it happened kind of quick. We got here already, but I know I wanted to sit back. This whole roller coaster rides has always taken me to great heights, and I've been surprised every time. But I'm like, dang it, it's almost like, the pin happened. So like, what's next? What's after all of this? But I'm here for it. I love having Sammy and KO in the press box or up there in the suites. They showed the champs on TV. I was happy for them to see that and get their little Sammy saying that, yep, I have a lot invested in this match. Just overall, everything, all of it, the whole match, the whole finish. Even Paulie talking about Roman, if they win, your kids, your sons is going to have to acknowledge him. Like just all of that. And then you see how Roman like snaps. So we thought Roman is the great manipulator in this whole thing. Is it really Paulie? Paulie's probably running the strings for all of this.
I think that was Jay's issue when he's like, hey, either it's me or it's him. Heyman said, here's my problem with all of this whole thing. Hilarious, man. So good. Really, really good. Go ahead.
And then I was going to just touch on what E had asked. I don't think this has anything to do with Cody, but I could kind of see maybe where somebody would say, finally, Roman got pinned. Cody should have pinned him, but finally, Roman got pinned. I don't have any thoughts on it at all between the Cody part of it, but I am a believer, and I said it before, that if anybody to win the championship or anybody was to pin Roman, it had to be Jay. Again, I didn't think it was going to be this quite quick, but it had to be Jay. It had to.
Well, this was the moment that we were leading up to. Now we'll see which we'll talk about. Where do they go from here? Mm-hmm. What does SummerSlam look like? Hell, what does the rest of Roman's championship reign look like until he does drop it? But this moment of the bloodline fighting was the moment for him to lose for the first time. If he would have lost before that match, the ending would just felt like, oh, okay, the Usos beat Roman. No, like when that happened, that was a visceral reaction from that crowd, which the crowd was hot all fucking night. Like, shout out to them again. They were there for every single thing.
Matt and Eshaun, I know, Matt, you caught it. Eshaun, you catch the stand up if you hate Roman. And then, like, each tone difference, they was all in harmony with each other.
That's a song there or something. So if you're from the UK, please let us know. Is that like some type of famous song and you guys just switch the words out? And then Roman sits down on the apron and the crowd pops? So
Like,
much
Hey,
fun.
you know
falling.
what? I couldn't catch what they were saying.
Yeah, there's like stand
Yeah,
up.
I kept trying to lean
Roman.
into. I couldn't catch it. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But it all led up to that moment. It all led up to what we saw in that match and that finish. So now we got SmackDown this week. What do you guys think is Roman's match at SummerSlam based off of that finish? Now we got 5 weeks, so we may not, of course, find out what the main event is until 2 or 3 weeks from now. There may be things that happen on TV, but is there a point of doing Jay and Roman 1-on-1 at SummerSlam for the title? Because I think not. Coming off of immediately just watching this in the last 20 minutes, I feel like we know it's a foregone conclusion Roman would beat Jay, and we just move on. Do you guys want to see that match, or is there something else that, after looking at just the finish alone or that match, that you want to see?
When you originally talked about SummerSlam it being like a fatal 4-way, I'm just gonna call it for that. I was there, but after last night with this morning, there's no dissension between the brothers, the twins, between Jimmy and Jay. So I can't see it being like a fatal 4-way anymore. So then that would lead me to saying then it would be a 1-on-1 with Roman. Again, we got here pretty quick, or emotionally for me, we got here quick. I think that's what I'm going to have to go with. I'm going to have to go that SummerSlam is going to have to be Jay and Roman for the title. It's going to have to be. Now, how it ends, that I don't know, and I haven't worked through yet, but it can't be a fatal 4-way.
What else would it be, Matt, besides that match?
I think there's more meat in the bone with the 4-way than it is just a 1-on-1 match, strictly due to Solo. There's a lot of things they did in that match that completely protected Solo and put Solo in a much higher hierarchy. When Roman started crying after the spear and throat shot, because they thought that was it. They stacked them up. They both kicked out. Roman loses his shit. He just can't believe what the fuck happened. Oh my God, my world's crumbling. Solo looks at Roman like, dude, what are you doing? Like, get back on these guys. And then Roman kicked out of it. It was like, all right, you're right. Let's do that. So I think there's a big story we can tell with Solo. I don't know if you want to tell it already with that. I don't know how you put Jimmy in that match.
That's what I'm saying.
Unless maybe there becomes a little bit of maybe friendly competition on, hey, I want to win the title. I want to win the title. Hey, we're still cool, but let's go after that championship. Maybe that's what we get. But I do think, I said it a couple months ago, I think the 4-way is the best way to go because it has to involve the bloodline. We're not going to go to the winner of the Money in the Bank. We're not going to go to anybody else on the SmackDown brand and going against Roman. It has to be Roman, and it has to be a title match. Has to be a title match. He hasn't had a title match since Mania. That's a big 4 pay-per-view. You got to do it. So my money would still be on Fatal 4-Way.
I think the only way that could work, at least in my brain right now, would be now that the head of the table is in jeopardy, who really is deserving of it. So it's like the battle of who should be it now. So I think that'd be the only way to keep Solo in it, and the only way that would make sense for Jimmy to fight his own brother, his own twin.
Maybe this is when we get Rikishi. Maybe all the work Rikishi's done on Twitter, maybe he comes back and says, you boys got to do like we used to do in the backyard. All for you. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
And that would make sense because there's nobody else. Heyman shouldn't have that call. Pierce is not going to make that call. So maybe it's somebody in the actual bloodline that actually says, look, this is what it is once and for all, however they want to build it. And then we're off and running.
Yeah, the guy. If you look at the story and how they're going with this, it doesn't really make sense to be a fatal 4-way, and it seemed like that they would kind of be forcing something into a pay that doesn't fit if they were to do that. Because right now, the Usos are united, right? They got a cool little handshake, which I love, right? Now there's Solo's always kind of the wild card. You don't know where he's at, but this looks like it's building to a Jay versus Roman, right? He was supposed to be the guy to be the next head of the table. So it looks like this is where that's going. And it would make sense that, you would have Jimmy on the outside, Solo on the other side, and how do they react and, who's on whose side. But that's where it seems like it's going. That's where the story seems like it's going to. And I think the pin right? As soon as it happened, I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to give Jay that extra boost from a storyline perspective to say, hey, look, I beat you once, I can beat you again. Like, right, I can beat you for the championship, and this is where they're kind of going with that. It doesn't make sense to kind of shoehorn Solo or Jimmy into that equation right now.
I didn't watch SmackDown. SmackDown watched me on Friday night. Wasn't there some kind of comment? Because I think I heard the commentator say it on the show today or on Money in the Bank that Solo could be the next tribal chief. Wasn't there some commentary like that on SmackDown?
Yeah, the Usos said something.
Yeah, the Usos
to that effect, and then Roman laughed his ass off, and like Solo's just looking at Roman like, "Dude, what you laughing at?"
Yeah.
Okay. So then, so then that's something there that kind of planted a quick seed. We know that so far in this whole bloodline storyline, there's no just by happenstance. Things are set intentional and they plant seeds there on purpose. It's kind of like Marvel. Like you don't see anything on Marvel that's not going to come back to fruition later on. So,
but that kind of was a more of a Usos showing Solo what Roman thinks about him.
Got it.
Like, right? Because like, you know, because for Roman to immediately disregard it and kind of laugh it off. You know, like, and so Solo to see that, like, look, and this is what they've been saying, like, look, this dude don't care about you.
Right.
He don't respect you. Right. And so for him to see that. So to me, it kind of goes all the way down to that main event. Like, all right, Jay versus Roman, who's like, obviously right now, Jimmy is on the side of Jay. Can they convince Solo to join that side too, to help Jay get over the top and create a new tribal chief? That seems to be, that makes a little bit more sense to me in my eyes.
And we know that they've done a fantastic job with telling this story. Mm-hmm. So whatever they do, if it's going to be the main event of SummerSlam, we know it's going to work. It's probably going to have an incredible build. It's cool. But I would just, if they're going to go Roman and Jay, I would just much rather have not had Jay get the pin the way it happened. Now, the 1D and it counted to 10 and referees laid out, if that was the false finish for Jay to say for the next 5 weeks, I had you, I could have beat you. Okay, there's a little bit more stock there to it. It's just hard to believe that he's been pinned now for the first time in almost 4 years, and we are to expect him to lose twice in 2 months.
I could pin you again, Oos. I could do it again, Oos. Like, they had to, right? Because if you think about it, the problem with Roman, his reign, outside of like Cody and Drew, you never really believe that anybody can beat him.
Sammy. Let's throw Sammy in there.
Maybe. I think we wanted Sammy, but I don't think anybody really felt like he was really the guy, right? Mm-hmm. You got to say, like, without a pin, Jay's in the same boat. Like, right? We want you to win, right? Do we really believe you can? So now they can kind of build a story around, look, I've already done it. I could do it again. Oos, I got you.
I love the Rock impersonation / tributes from Jay in the match. Like I said, the callbacks from the chokehold on Jimmy back in Hell in a Cell. They did a lot of things in that match. That was like, damn, that was awesome. That was awesome. I'm sure I missed some of the things too.
Oh yeah, Matt, you already touched on it. Like that when he went to stack the Usos together to pin them. Cause we seen him pin. Was it Danielson and Edge that way?
At Mania 2 years ago.
Man, look, I forgot about that moment. I meant to write it down because I didn't, because I was so lost in the moment. When he stacked them like that, I was thinking to myself, don't do that. Don't do
and it was cool too. And this is one of those where you foreshadow, but it makes sense. You know, there's a lot of times in wrestling, you hear something on commentary and you're like, fuck, you screwed off the finish already. Mm-hmm. This was the perfect one because they showed the Instagram post from Roman that he did yesterday where he showed that photo of being stacked up and he said, stack them, rack them, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was the emotional investment for anybody who doesn't remember that to say like, oh, he's doing the same thing he did at WrestleMania. So when the kick out happened, it meant even more. Right, like
I got on the edge of my seat. I was like, yeah, okay, let's go.
Yep.
Yeah,
because when he did it, I was like, ooh, like he's gonna beat them like that. Which makes sense. Yeah. If you can beat two Hall of Famers like Bryan and Edge like that at WrestleMania, okay, I get it.
But that was surprising, right? That was surprising when he did it like that, right?
But when they kicked, I was like, ooh, yeah, all right, same. Like okay, all right, and that was really where business started to pick up, as JR would say. Hey, shout out to JR. Hopefully, he's doing all right. Like he's been like falling. He's saying he's falling, but he's having black eyes. And typically, I've never failed before to have a black eye, but typically I don't think you get black eyes when you fall. So I know he didn't sound the best. Yeah, he didn't sound the best when he was on the first collision. And I know there was a few people just saying, get well, JR. Hope you're feeling better. Hope you're feeling better. So shout out to him. Hopefully he's doing all right.
I do want to make it just a quick mention to. I was trying to look up his name. I'm sorry, but the ref from the main event, when he took that ref bump spot, oh my God, the agony in his voice. It was so pitiful and sad. I felt so bad for him. I'm like, why'd y'all do that to him like that?
I was like, oh my God, he got hit.
Man, he hold his groin and stuff when he falls out. I'm like, dang, dude, that sucks.
He definitely took it. So all in agreement. The match was great. It lived up to what we wanted it to. And I think we're all excited to see what the next step is.
Yeah.
This is going to be a critical step, though.
I agree.
This is going to be critical because even on Friday, or was it last Friday? Last Friday, when the Usos brought back Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary, I had a feeling in my heart of heart, in my chest, in my stomach. I had a feeling of, shit, are we back to just what it was before the bloodline? And I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want them. And I'm going to hope and pray that if they've done this incredible job in the last 3 years with this storyline, they know what the final pieces are going to look like and make sure everybody's better than what they were. But this can't just be, I don't want just like Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary to be the end of the promo and kind of things going back the way they were. So with now Roman being pinned and now that shield of armor being completely wiped away from him, I just hope that, all right, this next step is as good as it needs to be.
I wouldn't mind it, because I like when Jay was talking in the ring earlier, right? Because he said, he's telling, before the match started, he's like, welcome, right?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all stepping into a different domain right now, right? Mm-hmm. That's what it kind of means to me. Like, right? Like, y'all ain't never faced a team like us before, right? And then at some point, last thing before we go to the next match, Jay said to Solo during the match, right when the very beginning, when Roman was first getting in the match, Roman said, Solo, come here. And then Solo was reluctant. And then Jay looked at him and said, yo, you better listen to your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, man.
I popped hard on that one.
So, what I did not pop hard on, start at the top of the show. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. WWE, you had a prime, perfect opportunity. And I talked about hoping there was a great next step in the Bloodline saga. You better have a masterful next step for LA Knight.
Oh, yeah.
To skip over LA Knight, not put the briefcase on him. And I get you probably have a story for Priest. Okay, I got that. But I also know that LA Knight is arguably the hottest wrestler in WWE right now.
And London didn't let him down either. They showed it. They repped it for him.
So for you to not put the briefcase on LA Knight, that was a fucking travesty. And I had a feeling the way the match was going, that probably was going to happen. He still looked great in the match. He didn't lose anything in that match. So it wasn't like they buried him, quote unquote, or anything like that. But as soon as Priest won, the first thing I thought about was, why did we do Montez Ford versus LA Knight if LA Knight wasn't going to win the Money in the Briefcase? You got two huge fan favorites.
Yep.
For what? Why? What was the point of splitting the audience in that match if we didn't get a payoff at Money in the Bank?
Well, I told you, I forgot what happened beforehand when LA Knight didn't win. When he didn't have his matches at Mania, and it was something, maybe was it Saudi or something right after that, or maybe I don't know what it was, but I'm like, yep, I don't think WWE is going to push LA Knight, and I fell for it. I fell for the fandom because the two of you was like, nah, but it's LA Knight's time. It's his turn. I'm like, nope. For some reason, I was like, and this is going to be telling. If he doesn't win the Money in the Bank, then this tells me everything I need to know as far as what they look and see for him. And that would be a true letdown to me, because everybody loves this guy. Everybody. It's not just one town or just a smart city. You know, everyone loves him. So you have someone who just organically made their heat in a good way, and now it's going to just burn out and fizzle out.
And the crazy part, is they know it. I think it was Barrett on commentary that made a comment during the match or when LA Knight came out. It was one of the two, or there was a big hope spot in the match where he's the only one standing up. And Barrett goes, give the people what they want.
Yep, he sure did say that.
So that tells me WWE knows what we want and how popular Knight is. So either they don't care or they got a hell of a plan for him after this. Now, I said about a month ago, if you guys remember, hey, if Knight doesn't win the Money in the Bank briefcase, give me him and Austin Theory and give LA Knight the U.S. title. If we get that, all right, cool. But they got to do something with him. He is way too hot for them to piss over him numerous times.
Yep.
You know, when Damian, I got a couple of things here I wrote down. Number one, like, what was the reader or not reader? They're not reading. They're listening. The friend of the pod, Internal had mentioned that Damian Priest would win. I was like, wow, he was right. I was like, man, he's kind of off base. It's like, there's no way that LA Knight doesn't win this, right? He called it. So that was number one. Number two, when it happened, I was a little deflated from the show a little bit. Not necessarily like I was after Cody lost. That was at the end of the show. But that kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. And I'm like, oh, wow. I was kind of just disappointed. I like Priest, but I was just disappointed that LA Knight didn't win. And then third, I'm like, damn, is Vince, I think we're getting old, crazy Vince again, right? Where he just doesn't give the people what we want. He gives people what he wants, right? Because at the end of the day, he thinks Damian Priest is the next guy, right? And LA Knight isn't, because he wanted the guy to be a manager. He wanted to, then at some point, I think he's about to phase him out, much like he's about to do Gunther.
Well, yeah, I mean, LA Knight even said he had an interview. I still got to go back and watch it. But I read an excerpt, and he was like, he thought he was gone. Like,
yeah, because that's why Maxine Dupree.
I think he said either he forgot why. He probably remembers. I'm sure he just don't want to say it. But he's like, he just knew that he would be out of here.
Yeah, I think Maxine Dupree was introduced to replace him as the manager for that group, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh man, we're getting crazy Vince again, not giving people what they want. Because you mentioned the Montez Ford and LA Knight. Why two fan favorites? Because LA Knight wasn't positioned as a fan favorite. He was positioned as the heel, right? And they didn't know, and we didn't know either, that he had so much fan appeal that they will boo Montez in favor of him, right? So it seems like the plan from the start was Damian Priest to win this thing, and LA Knight and his ascension as a fan favorite probably wasn't factored into all of this. And they went with what was originally going to be done, which is Damian Priest. So now, what do we do with LA Knight? This is going to be telling to me, right, if Vince has really changed. Is he going to go ahead and say, okay, let's put LA Knight in a position to succeed? Or is he going to say, hey, you know what? F him. I don't see anything in LA Knight, just like I didn't a year ago. He's not the next guy, and we're going to see him phase out again. It'll be telling.
The only answer is going to be, we got to get Theory and LA Knight. That has to be the SummerSlam match. To shoot Vince and Bill, if you go by the rumors that we heard, Triple H wanted either Priest or Knight to win, and Vince wanted Logan Paul to win. That was the word last week. So this may not be a Vince thing. And the funny thing is, if this would have been 2 months ago, say if this came right off Backlash, we all would have been like, man, put the fucking briefcase on Priest. Hell yeah. But it's not 2 months ago. But LA Knight's been getting screwed over since WrestleMania. How was he not on the card? And he was building up every single week. You can't have a WrestleMania LA without LA Knight.
Without LA Knight, yeah.
Wasn't on the show at all. Didn't even win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Fast forward to now.
It's called, like, wait. What's the name of it?
Go ahead.
It's not Andre the Giant Over the Top Battle Royal.
There you go.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So, you know, that was where I was like, and then when the match started off, I was like, either they're starting this show off in the hottest possible way, or LA Knight's not winning. It was going to be one of the two. And we got what we got. Once again, we are all big Damian Priest fans.
I'm a
But
huge Damian Priest fan.
I don't get we're going to get some of that dissension between Finn Balor. We saw it already.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
He stood up and Finn now lost. So we know we're going to get some of that. We know but his personality to me, he just doesn't need the briefcase. But we'll see. We will see. They got to have something planned for LA Knight. I was like, what the fuck? I did enjoy Ricochet and Logan Paul. We talked about in the preview pod. I said, hey, give them that spot that is going to be like that holy shit moment, and then have them running back 1-on-1 at SummerSlam. I still hope that's the plan because we got that spot. That what was it? Spanish Fly
Spanish
to the table.
to the table.
Crazy spot.
I thought Ricochet was about to break his neck for a second, but they did it
because
they
were
all
off balance.
Yeah,
they
they
were
all
off
wrapped up
balance
in the
in
rope,
sequence. And
and
then you know, so like Ricochet was like, "Yup,
We gotta go.
let's do
go.
it." And that's incredible strength for him to be off balance, and both of them off balance, and it seemed like he was the aggressor in that move to flip him.
Yep, core
Like,
strength.
wow.
That's all there. Like athleticism. I don't know if you trust, and that man. Think about Logan Paul, right? This guy has had less than 5 legit matches, and you trust him in that spot to pull that move off.
Yeah, that just
And
says a lot for all of them. It says a lot for all of them.
I mean, not after me. Did we see him after that spot?
Yeah, he had a cut on his shoulder. You know, they showed him selling down on the ground, but he looked like he was fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he looked like he was fine. Anything else from that match besides the travesty of the finish?
I'll be honest with you. I'll be full transparency. I did not mind Damian Priest winning at all. I thought it was super sick that broken arrow.
You're not a big
off the
LA
top.
Knight fan either, though.
Yeah. That could be it, and that could be it. But I was actually kind of happy. Not, of course, I'm like, damn, they fucked over LA Knight again. But no, I was happy that Damian won. I'm really excited to see what we do now with him having that money in the bank. And to the question you had asked on last pod, are we going to see something cash in quick? Or is this going to be a long, drawn-out story for months and almost a year?
I just think that, wow, if you think about, like, the reactions that he's getting, like, right? 'Cause I would say he got one of the top 3, maybe top 2. Well, no, like, you know, of course, Roman, the Usos. But he was right up there as far as, like, reaction from the crowd. Like, right?
Talking about Knight,
Which
right?
one? Which who?
Yeah.
Oh, Knight.
LA Knight.
We had seen on this show, we had the Bloodline. Cody got a huge reaction.
Yeah. And then your boy Drew.
He was up there, right?
Drew got a huge reaction. So it was a top 5. But he got the best reaction on SmackDown Friday night.
He got an awesome reaction. Yeah. I mean, you just got to seize that. Like, to me, you know, LA Knight versus Austin Theory, him going after the U.S. title. Like, I feel like this is the time you go ahead and you push this guy to the top.
Wow.
At least on Raw.
So
you do.
So you were saying that, hey, you would be okay with him beating Self for the title, and Raw is LA Knight's show.
Interim, like, I don't know, like, from a forever champion, like, right? But definitely you can give him a couple months reign, you know, with him and Seth going back and forth, or putting him at the, you know, I think I could see him being like a Miz level champion, maybe a little more credible than Miz was. 'Cause I actually like Miz as a champion, but I can see him being somebody you can put up there for like 4 to 6 months as a champion.
Okay.
I think if LA Knight was the next, what is it called, heavyweight champion, I think it would. Oh, this is about to sound so bad. I think it would tarnish that championship. So you telling me that the second person to hold it, the first person to win it off of Seth?
Oh, big time.
I'm being 100% honest, because he's not there now. Because you didn't care enough about him. You being WWE, you didn't care enough about him to even give him a video package at WrestleMania. You're telling me that he would be the second person to hold that heavyweight championship when you have bigger stars that can? Where I thought Cody was supposed to be going after it.
No, Cody don't want that belt.
Yeah,
But
Cody's
I'm saying,
not-
but what I'm saying,
he wants Roman.
He's not touching
yeah, but
that,
the point,
He damn sure
that
getting Roman.
validates it even more.
And look, if there was any doubt, I don't know why everything just changed just because he got pinned. But Cody winning that belt at Mania next year, guaranteed. Mark it down. Ain't gonna be no more hard times come next April.
That I'm just saying that title will for sure be known as a secondary championship if LA Knight was to win it.
That's crazy. I don't think it's that bad.
Hey, Rhodesia, I got to ask you a question. So if next WrestleMania, if we get Cody as champion, undisputed champion, and LA Knight as a world championship, how would you feel as a fan? Would you stop watching WWE?
No, I would not stop watching WWE as long as you tell the story fine. I'm saying the way that LA Knight is booked right now, this moment, you telling me in 4 weeks from now, when SummerSlam comes rolling around, that you have LA Knight win that heavyweight championship, the way that you gave two shits about him this whole time up until now. Oh, heck,
I know
you
what you're
set up
saying,
his reign for failure. That's kind of like.
That is the point of the Money in the Bank briefcase. You should be able to cash in at any time, no matter where you are on the card. We talked about that on last pod too. Like, we look at that as, hey, next up. That was what the IC title used to be. So you can go either way. I don't feel that way, but I do feel it would be setting Seth up to fail because Seth is a huge face. LA Knight's a face. We're going to go with it. So if you have them feud, probably not. But I feel like it makes perfect sense to have him run the mid-card, upper mid-card show on SmackDown. He's got to go now with that. You're not doing anything with Austin Theory. And there's no other belt. Gunther, we see what's going to happen there with Drew coming back. Of course, we'll get to that.
Ooh, hot take.
Yep.
Another one?
I'm probably about to jump. Yeah. And it's a hot take question. Do you feel, and I'm saying this because I feel this, do you feel that Grayson Waller is kind of taking the character, and that's not it, because he is his own character, but filling in that void of the character of Austin Theory? And I saw it more so, I was feeling that way until when the Cena time came up. I'm like, ooh, this character a lot to me seems a lot like the Austin Theory character. Do you feel like they're kind of the same person?
No, but I see why you said that. And that's because Grayson Waller is the atypical, cocky, big mouth heel.
And that's what Austin Theory is too.
Austin Theory, Miz, MJF, throw them all in the same bucket, right? Really, they're successful heels is what they are. But if you guys want to go there, let's go there. Surprised by Cena, I love to see it. I think I may be a bigger Cena fan now than I was when he was wrestling, and we don't even see him anymore. But I got really, when that music hit, and of course that London crowd was for him there, it was just cool to see. I was like, damn, this is like really, really awesome. I didn't know where they were going with it. They went with the whole WrestleMania in London. As someone that goes to WrestleMania, I would hate it. I would watch that on TV and love it, though. Hey, give it to him. Then we get Grayson Waller out, and the first thing I said was, whoa, what a fucking rub.
Hell yeah.
Now, we also thought Austin Theory was going to get a rub at WrestleMania. That really didn't work out. But
he said something to Cena in his ear. That's why.
It was the point of, damn, they are trusting Grayson to do something with Cena right now.
And who knows? He did it.
We didn't know what it was. Sure did. He more than held his own.
I'm like, just the psyching myself out of it. I would have been psyched out for him. Like, I'm surprised he didn't feel my energy, because I'm like, holy shit, dude, 2.5 months ago, you were in NXT. Now you're up here holding a live mic against John Cena.
Crowds all over
in
you.
London.
You don't skip a beat. You didn't skip a beat. You didn't flub your words. Crowd calls him a wanker. And what does he say? Trust me, I don't need to. And then winks. How fantastic was that? I mean, he killed it. Congrats to Grayson Waller. He showed he's now cleared for competition. He did his knee move, so it shows that he's good to go now. I was a little worried, if you guys remember. I was a little worried about Grayson because he was the last pick. Didn't pick him on TV. Cut the hell of a promo at the PC, but it was only on .com and social media. I was like, oh, this may be like they don't see much in them. They do. They see a lot in them. I love that. But no, to answer your question, no, I think that's just you kind of clump like your white meat baby faces in a spot. You kind of clump your tweeners and then you clump your cocky heels. I think he's just clumped into that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. As soon as she's, I'm sorry, excuse me, Rhodesia. As soon as you mentioned that, I was like, no, he's just generic. I don't want to say generic is the word, right? But there's
prototype,
that
right?
Young,
so
prototypical, yes, young, cocky heel, right? Now, if he can kind of, take that and kind of make it his own, that would be the thing. But yeah, as you said, I think MJF is kind of taking himself out of that because he was kind of the rich, cocky heel, right? The I'm better than you because I'm a rich guy type thing, right? But no, I think he did. It was a great segment. I liked it a lot. As you said, I was a little worried about him at first because like they were giving it to Grayson, right?
Yep.
Especially when he first came out. And
And
at first
he,
I'm like, man,
whew,
you know,
proud of
and
him.
he at first I'm like, I don't know if it was the best decision to not acknowledge the crowd at all, but he's kept going with his promo, right? And he's kept going, he kept talking. Cena didn't interrupt him at all, right? Because Cena at times will interject or interrupt someone.
Yep. And I
don't
thought he was
know
going to. I thought he was going to. Yep.
He didn't at all, right?
He asked for
Sometimes that would throw people
clarification
off.
though, but yeah, yep.
Yeah, no, but I just knew he was going to say something like, "Hey, stop talking. They're talking to you," or "Are you going to respond to them?" or something like that. And he laid out. Yep,
he laid out. And like I haven't seen him do that in a long time, right? But it was a nice little showing for him. I don't know where they're going with it, but I do like it. I wasn't worried about Grayson at all because, like I said, I watched him in NXT and I felt like from just a character, like he knows who he is and he's confident in himself and he's confident in his mic skill. I think out of anybody in NXT during that time period, outside of Chase you guys, like he really knows who he is as a character and what he wants to how he wants to come across. And you're seeing it live on SmackDown. It was a nice moment.
I agree, man. I really do. Back to the show, match 2. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler lose their tag team titles to Raquel and Liv Morgan, aka Back and Ass.
Wow, what? I want to wait. I was gonna say I called it, but back in ass.
Back and Ass.
Get it back in ass? Is that what it is?
No, Raquel shows off her back.
Oh, back in ass.
Liv shows her ass. Back in ass.
Don't say that out loud because they might try to trademark that, and we're not gonna get paid for that. Okay.
Lord. I'll give y'all that one for free.
My God.
Back in ass.
Somebody explain to me.
Oh man.
Shayna turns on Ronda after working with her the entire match. What? Huh? How?
I'm
Why?
okay with it because I want to hear what they gotta tell me. Tell me why did this happen? Did it just snap in your head like, wait, she's a piece of shit?
Wait.
Fuck her. I mean, like for real. Because I told you I wanted Liv to get it back. I cannot stand when somebody loses their championship because of an injury. Now, because they satisfy that side of the equation for me, now you got to make sure that you explain how this Ronda and Shayna thing work. Because last time we talked about it, besides maybe Liv and Raquel, they're like the only real, besides the NXT people that came up, the only real tag team champion, team was Ronda and Shayna. So you just blew up your whole tag division again. Damn.
I don't get it. I don't.
Back in ass.
And the reason why I don't get it is because Ronda is nowhere in a space to become a big face right now. Sometimes you do a turn because, hey, that person can be back. All I can hope is they got a plan. Because Shayna versus Ronda as is right now, 5 weeks from now at SummerSlam, ain't it. I don't know if Ronda's going to get a mouthpiece. I don't know if something significant is going to happen. I don't know if there's a reason why those belts had to go back on to Liv and Raquel because they had it. Then Liv got hurt and then they relinquished it. But I just think that the last month has been a waste. I don't know.
Well, it was holding. Yeah, I mean, she deserved that title. Like I said, Liv got, to me, such a bad rep, at least in my eyes. Not rep, but her reign as champion was just not the best for me. And she worked so hard for her. She worked so hard last year. So she's deserving of that title. She got healed quicker than what people expected. You got to give it back to her. You got to. Now let's just see how they build the story after that.
Yeah, this is the first I wouldn't say half of this show I just wasn't into. I like Damian. But I was really, really shocked that LA Knight didn't win. And then I had this match, right? And this finish. And
you're just like, what?
And look, it's not about being wrong. I didn't predict any of this stuff correctly, right? A lot of it was who I wanted to win, right? Not who I thought would win. But I didn't see.
That's the fun part. Predictions, whatever. Okay, you got all of them right, you got all of them wrong. Doesn't matter. But it's what you want to see. I don't think nobody said they wanted to see that.
But I didn't see this coming, right? I didn't see this coming. Because here's the thing. I don't want to see Shayna and Ronda feud. Like, right? I don't think we're gonna have, Mike classics. The matches might be okay. I'm not excited to see that. I'm
I think the
honestly
match should
not
be
excited.
fire.
But
I
no, but
think
they
it'll be
haven't. I
fine.
think what E's saying is they haven't been together as a strong unit enough on TV for you to care about them feuding now.
No, I don't. And like,
Exactly.
it's just not going to be. I just don't think it's going to carry. You said it seems like Ronda was the one who got turned on, right? So as far as her
She's
having
the
a
face.
mouthpiece, she's the face. So a face wouldn't get a mouthpiece, right? And then I'm not that excited to see back in tail like
Back in
the kids
ass.
the kids are running around.
Hey, we asked on the last pod, hey, what's next for Liv? I guess women's championship.
Yeah, like I'm not excited to see the back and tail connection, as champions. I mean, I'm just like this was another miss for me. So yeah,
I really like Liv. So this is nothing against Liv or Raquel. Hell, we thought it was going to be Rhea and Raquel. Once again, we got 5 weeks. They could do another title switch on TV. Okay, fine. But we thought we were looking at Liv or Rhea and Raquel for a big match because they're stare down. I don't know. I didn't get into just the big reason why I didn't get it was there was no dissension in the entire match.
Nope.
So you
And it
took
was
all
like,
these hard bumps, all these hard shots for no reason.
Hit her with the man.
There was no dissension ever between them, right?
Except for when they first got together. And if you remember, I think Shayna was trying to get one of the two. Either Shayna or Ronda was trying to get the other one to cheat more or have more of a mean streak.
Oh, that's what it was, yeah.
But you're talking, that was hell. Over a year ago. Like,
and we forgot about that, yeah.
That wasn't recent. Yeah. So they can't go with that story either. It'll be interesting to see. At least we got something to look forward to from all right, now tell this story properly because that didn't make any sense. Gunther and Matt Riddle, I thought it was what it was. Gunther wins with a heel hook on a tap. Of course,
I thought the match was a little bit longer than what I thought it would be. But it still was a good match for me.
Yeah, it was there. I mean, it was, it was there. That wasn't a match that I think anybody was really looking forward to unless you're a major Gunther fan. Big story there is the returning Drew McIntyre. Thought it was interesting that Michael Cole said on commentary the stories of the demise of Drew McIntyre in WWE is false. So they put that to bed. We know we're getting Drew versus Gunther at SummerSlam. Hell yeah. I am here for that. Rhodesia, you made a comment about Gunther during the match. Do you remember? I think you made a correlation.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, what'd you say?
And it was just on full display too today or last night at Money in the Bank. Gunther, there's no wasted moves, breaths, steps, takes with him. Everything he does is so intentional, is strong, is powerful, and it is really reminiscent to me of Bryan Danielson. Same thing when we saw him at Forbidden Door. Like everything he does, there's no fluff. Every move they do, they're efficient. That's what I'm going to call it. Just efficient. No wasteful moves or tactics or anything like that. And it was on full display. And I actually liked that match a lot between Gunther and Riddle. Didn't think I would, but it actually was a really good match. But seeing Drew, I was so happy. I popped on that so hard. And now I cannot wait to see the two of them go at it at SummerSlam. Holy hell. That might be my SummerSlam match of the night if we don't get this fatal 4-way. / triple threat / whatever.
Or the Mae Young Women's Over the Top Memorial.
Yes.
Come up with something like that.
I would want to be in that match. They could throw me over like in the first 1 second because that's all I probably can handle, and probably would still break my shoulders.
Yeah, no. What you have to do is you have to do the bump that like the legends do, where like somehow you find yourself on the apron and you just get knocked off. You can't.
Yes.
You can't take the over the top.
I can't.
Yeah,
I know my shoulders will come out of socket and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a nice match. I actually like Riddle's offense. I think it looks pretty good. Like the little catches into like leg locks into a kick. I like his offense a lot. I always have. And, was really excited about Drew returning. And I read an article when Triple H had kind of talked about like the rumors that, Drew and the company were at odds. And he said that he talked to Drew numerous times and they're looking at each other like, we're talking to each other like, hey, you heard this? And they're just laughing like, oh my God, like what's going on here, right? And he said that, Drew just had a bunch of surgeries and there's another surgery he got, after another surgery, he wanted something fixed and there was never an issue. And when you think about it, for Drew to kind of come back in a feud for the IC championship. I mean, that's what he was holding out for. Like, right, like in the whole time when we were talking about this, even we mentioned it, I asked you guys, I'm like, do you think that Drew hasn't been booked well? Because I felt like he was always kind of pushed towards the top of the card. He had a nice championship run. He's always kind of in the push or in the mix. I just didn't feel like he had been misused or mistreated. Now, what I would like to see, because I would like to see Drew also at the top of the card on the Raw side. I don't know if we maybe get a champion versus champion match at some point at Mania with Seth and Drew as IC champion. That's what I would like to see, because I think that Drew, like I said, much like LA Knight, I feel like they should be kind of in play for the world championship, not just the IC championship.
So you put Knight in the same level as McIntyre right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have agreed with you if it wasn't for Gunther's incredible IC run. I think
he's changed the IC title.
He's changed the perception kind of back to what we know the IC title to be. So now, like, when I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is perfect. This gives, I'm big in like the milestones. I'm like, okay, this gives Drew that milestone that now he's gonna be the first person to beat Gunther in like a year. He takes that belt because now that belt is truly back to being that upper mid card belt. So I'm good with that. I would love to see some type of title versus title match. And I forgot to ask you guys when we talked about the Money in the Bank about Damian Priest. Does he cash in successfully? Do you think?
Well, who's he going after? Seth?
Does he cash in? Yeah, I mean, you can even pick that. He cut that promo talking about IC. Like, dude, no, if you have the Money in the Bank, if you don't go for the biggest belt.
Hold on. No, he said it. So when he was going down those championships and he was like in the undisputed world championship, I like that one. That was the only one he said that to. I was like, yes, give me Roman versus ROH Roman. That's an insider, y'all.
Shout out to ROH Roman. So do you have him successfully cashing in?
Yeah.
Do you?
I mean, I don't see him as champion right now. Like, if they have some time to make him credible.
Yeah, he's got a year.
Yeah, they have some time, but as of right now, if I would say no.
That's crazy. I'm so high on Damian Priest, and it seems like y'all not. I'm like so high.
I do. I was going to say, because I do see him cashing in. I see him successfully cashing in on Seth. Probably not like next month or whatnot, but I see that. I do. I also think that promo that he cut was kind of facious. that was a face promo he cut with Kayla. Even Kayla, when he walked away, Kayla smiling. I noticed that too. But I think that speaks. Yeah, I think that speaks more to the move away from Judgment Day eventually, and then we'll see how that goes. But it will be kind of cool. But I do kind of feel like the Money in the Bank. I know you can't cash in 100% of the time, but I feel like it's a cop out if you don't. And you could, I guess, maybe you could easily look at that entire field and say nobody's ready to be a top guy. Nobody's ready to have the world title. Nobody's ready to have the undisputed title. But it would be kind of crazy if Finn cost him the briefcase. Say he cashes in and then Finn cost him, because he cost Finn the match. Technically, kind of, maybe, sort of, on Money in the Bank. So I think they have some fun things to play with on that.
Hey, real quick, so you guys can see a time to where you have Damian as the world champion and then Drew as your IC championship.
You don't think
Damian as the world?
Like you don't like, to me, I feel like that would switch.
But I definitely won't see LA Knight as a world champion, and Drew,
I know you don't like that.
I just don't think that he's on the same level as the two of them.
Ooh. Do I see a world in there? I see a world in it only because it's a Money in the Bank cash in. If it was through just like actual storylines, no. I don't. Cody versus Dom. Anything you guys want to talk about on that? I think I didn't have anything on that.
I said Cody wins. That's all I have.
What I had on it was I was surprised it was as clean cut as it was. Not that it was a waste of a match. Once again, match was fine, but I expected either Brock to interfere. I expected maybe Rhea to do something more. I expected something else in that match, and we really didn't get anything. Match was cool. I think it did what it needed to do. Rhea looked beautiful and incredible as always. I'm not into goth looking women or goth clothing, but man, she looked fantastic. Dom looked great. coming out with the bullet vest. I thought that was awesome. But once we kind of got past the intros, it was like a paints by numbers type match, and get in, get out, move on.
We knew what we were getting. Yeah.
Yeah. EO. Yes. Shout out to EO. I think we all wanted EO to win in a perfect world. We are massive EO fans on the TFW pod. Didn't think it was going to happen just because I thought the story they were going to go with was Bayley stopping her from winning, which Bayley did stop her from winning at one point. And then
Bayley is now the newest member of Judgment Day. Sorry.
Oh my God. Samantha, you know we love you to death.
We love you, Samantha. Everybody gets a one-off.
Yeah, everybody gets a one-off. But when she said, it was so funny, it threw me for a loop.
Big time.
When she's like representing the Judgment Day, and I'm hearing Bayley's music, and it's Bayley. Like, I legit was like, what the fuck is going on? Hold on. Like, what?
I thought I missed something else.
Man, I was like, that threw everything off. I guess that just goes to like, for humans, when you hear something, you automatically connect it to what it is. Because I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone for about a half a second. I was like, oh, she just messed up. She just messed up. But I thought the match was great. I love the end visual with Bayley and Becky being handcuffed, kind of looking up at EO with the big smile with the briefcase. Of course, EO does what EO does. She does her crazy moonsault, damn near off the top of the ladder. Really good match. But I'm happy that she won. I'm very, very happy that she won. But I was kind of surprised because I didn't pick that, of course. What'd you guys think of EO winning?
When she won, I was like, oh yeah, I said she was going to win. And I realized I remember I changed it because I said Trish was going to win. But yeah, I'm happy EO won. I'm really, really happy. That match to me was fire. Flame emoji, flame emoji, flame emoji. Love the handcuff scene. I knew that we was going to get that, so it was a tiny bit predictable for a second. But I thought it was more so of Becky being handcuffed to the ladder and not being handcuffed to Bayley. So that was a really, really good spot. And then crazy Zelina spot she did. Oh, that was the whole match was fire.
That cold red powerbomb?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sick.
Yo.
Beautiful, but sick. Trish took some nasty stuff too. I was like, wow. And this was Trish's first ladder match. I'm like, no, it's not. But again, that's just how much wrestling has evolved. Because when Trish was wrestling, they didn't have those kind of matches. And I'm like, how is this her first ladder match? But it was. And I thought she did pretty good.
Women weren't working those kind of matches back then.
No.
Yep. So it's advanced a lot. So kudos to wrestling and the women who are pushing forward for the advancement of women too. But no, overall, I love that match, and I'm happy that EO won, and how she won too. I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good match. It actually was a much better match than I thought it would be. I think it was definitely right up there as far as match quality with the men's. Some of those spots I was like, wow, like, you know, and I was really surprised that EO won. And like, I've been a huge fan of her, so I don't know where she goes, right? What's her next feud? You know, what title does she cash in on? Can she cash successfully? I hope we get those. Well, we will get those questions answered in the near future, but I just don't know where they go next. But that's also pretty cool too, to not necessarily know someone's path, to kind of watch it unfold right in front of your eyes. So that'd be pretty cool.
Do we get a pre-announced cash in from EO to Asuka at SummerSlam?
I can see that.
Does she have enough respect for Asuka, or
yes,
you know,
I could absolutely
the culture? To say like, hey, I'm cashing in on you at SummerSlam.
Be ready, get because here's the thing: EO is a type, and same thing with Asuka. But EO is even a little bit more. EO is not a little bit; she's a lot more serious than Asuka character wise. But they would want only the best of each other.
I want you at your best.
Yeah, I want you at your best. I'm gonna let you know ahead of time. I'm coming for you.
Asuka's heel right now. EO's a fucking face. She's always been a face. Every time she gets out there and she's not doing her entrance, she's smiling. She's just probably the sweetest girl in the world. I would love to see a pre-announced. I mean, I've been talking about Asuka and EO forever at SummerSlam, but I would love that. And I thought that they would deliver. If you guys remember on the preview pod, I said, which one do you guys think would be better, the men's ladder match or the women's ladder match? I don't even think I answered. Both of you said the men's.
I said the men's.
I knew that the women's match would be a dark horse. They always kind of show out whenever they get the opportunity. So I asked about Damian Priest. Does EO cash in successfully at some point?
Ooh. Let's go with yes again. Yes. I have a 50-50 chance, so yes.
If it's against Asuka, I can see her definitely beating Asuka.
I think so.
because I could see the business between the two of them, give them a few months of going back and forth for it too. I could see that being some really good TV. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I feel like she has to. Like they haven't really put the rocker strap on her since she's been on the main roster. So I still think there's a lot of people that really do. Well, they're getting to know it now with her and Bianca at Backlash, and then now this match. I think they're starting to see exactly what she can do. I was just glad that there wasn't no shenanigans with like Charlotte. I know there was like a rumor out there that Charlotte was supposed to get involved and take one of the final spots or something like that. So I'm glad that that was all put to the side. Last match we didn't talk about. Seth beats Finn. I don't think anybody had the finish in doubt. Thought it was a good physical brawl type match. I'm glad they didn't try to wrestle. If Finn's whole thing is like, I've been waiting 7 years to get my hands on you, I'm glad it was more of just that, punch, just that physical brawling style match and not wrestling move for move. My only, I guess, question coming out of this match, maybe y'all can help. When did it change from coup de grace to coup de grace?
Well, the word is spelled coup de grace.
I know how it's spelled, but I also know how it's been said for years up until recently that now they're calling it coup de grace.
I think in London, in Europe, it's pronounced as grass. I don't know, but you know what? I could find out and I'll report on the next show. The proper pronunciation of the origin of the word coup de grace.
I love the teaser hook.
Yeah. It's a French word, I believe. I believe it's a French word. So I'll find out the proper pronunciation of coup de grace in Francois.
I really enjoyed the finish, right? Because it kind of protected Finn in a way. Because it's like he almost had the match won. But then Damian, distracted him. He's like, man, what are you doing? Right? Because like
he knew what he was
said
doing.
It.
What the hell,
he said it.
What you stand up for? Like you knew what you was doing.
And the way he stood up too, right? So now it's kind of like now you got built-in legit friction. Because when Finn did it to Damian, he was almost kind of trying to help.
Correct.
Damian win, right? But the tables got turned on him. So then Damian looks over and sees he been on his ass. He's like, "What are you doing out here?" Like, right? But no, Damian legit got up to cause a distraction, right? And it worked, and Finn lost the match. So now there's a legit friction between the two, right? Because it seemed like they already been kind of at odds, right? They've been kind of playing it off. Rhea had been looking at it like, hey, we good, right? Looking at both of them, right? Yeah, we good. So we definitely see there's probably a breakup coming pretty soon. So that's pretty interesting.
I'm excited. There's, as much as there were some really head-scratching times on this show, I'm putting my faith in creative because creative's been much, 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 much better over the last year. That we're going to come out of this on the outside going into SummerSlam in a better spot than the things that we sat here with WTF on our face is going to be good. But I think this is another one. I think seeing Finn or just the breakup or the dissension in Judgment Day can be some really, really good TV that they can kind of have going for weeks and weeks and weeks. So that was the show. Overall, I would absolutely give it a thumbs up because of the Drew surprise, because of the Cena surprise, because of the Bloodline match and finish. It's just a really bad taste in my mouth with LA Knight. And I'm just crossing my fingers that he's going to be taken care of here soon. But overall, for me, it was a thumbs up. What about you guys?
Thumbs up for me, too. Because, again, I don't mind Damian Priest winning. And for me, all the matches was fire to me, except for maybe, again, Riddle and Cody. But, again, it still was a good match. Not Cody, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it took me a minute to shake off that my initial shock of the Money in the Bank match then also that tag team match. But it got cooking after that for me, and then we got an awesome main event and a super surprise for me. I'm gonna give it definitely a thumbs up.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. So did it live up to our expectations? Going into it, I didn't have high expectations, not because of the show. It was just we've had fantastic wrestling. So it's like, all right, I'm excited to watch it, but it didn't feel like a top 4 or top 5 pay-per-view to me going into watching the show. But I was entertained, and I think it met expectations.
It met expectations. It didn't have the Big 4 feel, and I don't know if that's because of me personally, is it because we have so much good wrestling out right now? So it's kind of hard when everything's good. If something's like it's great, it's not that much of a margin difference. So I didn't get the feels of a Big Four pay-per-view, but it was still a great pay-per-view for me.
Yeah, I don't think I had low or high expectations of the actual show. I was definitely in it to see that main event, right? I think we've all been on this bloodline journey. We want to see what's going to happen next. So I think everything else actually might have been icing on the cake for me. After I got past those first 2 matches, it was icing on the cake.
that women's tag match, I'm going to be scratching my head. There's probably no explanation they can give me where we're like, oh, that makes sense. That one was, y'all dropped the ball on that one. All right. Great pod, guys. Thank you guys for listening to the TFW podcast post show or instant react show, however you want to look at it, for Money in the Bank. We'll be back Wednesday morning. We're going to be talking Collision. We're going to be talking Aftermath from Monday Night Raw. Eshaun, you got to give us a update on AEW Fight Forever, because you said you played about 4 matches on the last pod, so I want to get your update. Probably what you say may go on if I purchase it this week or not. I'll have some time this week to get into it. Yep. So we'll go over that, and of course any other news that is talked about over these next few days. Shout out to Rhodesia too with having the Money in the Bank briefcase in the back. Easter egg for you YouTube watchers there. Speaking of YouTube, follow us there at That's Freakin Wrestling. We're gonna be uploading twice now a week with our full episodes. Give us a follow at That's FNW on Twitter. Eshaun, anything else? Rhodesia, anything else you guys want to tell the fans before we get out of here?
Thank you, and have a fantastic week.
I echo those sentiments.
So there you go. We will talk to you guys next time.